All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine, Women, and Words. I'm Michelle, and of course, with me is Diana.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And this is our first episode of 2017.
Our first episode. Two things in one.
Right. So this is our December book of the month is Reliance, Illinois by Mary Volmer. And Diana and I are both probably almost, I would be willing to bet, like on the same page right now. Literally on the same page, not just
I'm on page, let's see, I'm on page 17.
Oh my God, me too.
It's been a crazy week. So,
yeah, it really has.
Yes. Speaking of being a crazy week, what are you drinking? Because we need our therapy tonight. At least I know I need it.
So I'm drinking a bottle of wine that was left over from Thanksgiving because we had, we invited some sailors over who don't have any family close by and they didn't have anywhere to go. So one of them brought this wine, and it's called Moscato Vineyards. It's a Cabernet. And I don't know if I like it though. Maybe it just had to breathe a little bit.
Do you have an aerator?
I do.
You try it with the aerator. Because I've always found with red wines, if I don't like the flavor, I could just put it through the aerator and the flavor is better. Especially with like the cheaper wines. Not saying that that's a cheap wine, but just saying that might improve the flavor.
I don't know if my husband is just super cold or if he's making fun of all the scarves that I have out, but he's wearing, I have two scarves out and he's wearing both of them wrapped around his neck right now.
Knowing your husband, he's making fun of you.
Probably.
Yes, wait for him to put the hand on the hip and start prancing around and you know he's making fun of you.
Well, it's cold here today. Like winter has arrived.
Oh,
and
you're living in Game of Thrones world.
It was, and I was kind of hoping for a while, and also just as a kind of side note here, we have no agenda tonight. Tonight is just kind of a kick back and chat night, just FYI, in case anyone is expecting anything. In case anyone is expecting anything like literary.
Might get a little literary.
A little bit, true, yeah.
Yeah, the alcohol is flowing.
True story. So I was kind of hoping, like last weekend, it was warm enough for my kids to be outside without a jacket at one point. And if they were wearing a jacket, it was like, yeah, that is a chocolate cake.
I don't eat cake, so.
Well, it was given to me, so.
I never got it a day.
I got a chocolate cake.
Well, aren't you just special?
So, anyway, so I was kind of hoping, and we're in December, and we haven't really, it snowed a couple times, but it didn't stick. So I was kind of hoping we would coast through December with no snow. And then we woke up this morning, and it was 20-something degrees, and it got down to like 19 degrees during the day. And now they're expecting, I saw a report that they're expecting our first cumulative snowfall on Friday night.
Oh, that should be nice and romantic. You could put on White Christmas and drink wine and eat cookies with the kids. That sounds like so much fun.
True, and I was giving Rich a whole lot of crap for buying a snowblower because I was like, they're not even predicting snow, and it's a lot of money, and it's eating into our Christmas shopping budget. And he ordered it last night, and this morning it was snowing when we woke up.
Yeah, he's going to say, I told you so. Well, you may be living in the winter wonderland. I am living in the apocalypse.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe what's happening in California right now.
It's ridiculous. So for those of you who don't know, there are 2 fires in the Los Angeles area alone. There was one fire in Huntington Beach, another one outside of San Diego. Huntington Beach, I believe that it was a small one and they were on it real fast because it was over by the wetlands area. or not the wetlands area, not that far from Central Park where they do all the reenactment stuff. And yeah, I haven't heard too much about the one. The one outside of San Diego was over in Fallbrook area. And the one in Los Angeles is really bad because it's not just the one north of Los Angeles. It hit Ventura. It's hitting Ojai. Ojai, there's outside of Ojai, there's a lot of homes that are destroyed. A friend of ours, his brother actually lost his home in that one. There's flames going right up to like the Getty Center. And then over by, the one in, I can't remember the name of the canyon. The Skirball Fire, they're calling it, because it's over by Skirball Center, which is a big Jewish community center. That one is happening. That's over by, if you guys remember, Chad Thuman was on our show. I was actually talking to him a little bit this morning. That's not that far from where he lives.
So scary. I can't believe. And is all of this, I've been following the fires, but is all of this just, it's really hot and really windy and really dry?
It's not that hot. It's actually been fairly cool out here. It's been in the 70s and it's dropped down to like 40s at night. But it's been like 70s and low 80s, which for us is fairly cool. But it's those Santa Anas. Now, for those of you who are not in California, let's have a little chat about the Santa Anas, because a lot of people feel like they're this mystical thing that doesn't really exist.
The Santa Anas are awful.
Yeah, the Santa Anas are they're the winds that brought Dorothy to the Outland of Oz. Not even.
She lived in Southern California.
Yeah. So basically what happens is the winds from Nevada desert, they come over California and our Santa Ana. I want to say our Santa Ana mountain range. I don't know. I could be wrong. But it goes over our mountain range. And as it goes over the mountain range, it accelerates as it dips down into the valley and our coastal areas. And when that does, it brings in hot, dry air. So we always get a bit of a warm-up when they come through. And it's an offshore wind. So it blows everything out. So we don't get any of the rain and stuff from the Pacific. And because they're really hot and really dry, and they're really, really strong. So I'm currently, like, my sinuses are all dry. My throat's been dry and scratchy. Everybody's just coughing and sneezing everywhere around me. Debris everywhere. And like there's wind damage that's happening. But it also helps pick up the fire. So if there's, say, a spark from a car, a spark from a power box, that can just set hundreds of acres of land on fire here. And we do have a lot of rugged wilderness, which people don't really get. But you go on the other side of LA, just up past Hollywood, and you just see hills with just nothing but trees. That's where like the Hollywood Bowl is over there. People's homes, and we're not just talking like there's like average people's homes, and then you got multi-million-dollar homes. So we're talking like the area of Bel Air is right now in danger. So yeah, I've been miserable about that. And funny story, I don't actually water things. I'm really bad with plants. But I thought I would be really super helpful last night before I went to bed. I was like, okay, I'm going to water the lawn. Because I read a thing that a friend of mine and a cousin of Michelle's was like, if you're going to have to stay in the area, or if you're insisting on staying in the area, because, I'm going to insist on actually going to work and getting a paycheck, be sure to be really careful because these are going to be really bad. And I was like, our front lawn is actually kind of dry. Let me water it. And it was just before midnight. And I go to turn it on. And it doesn't turn on. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it. Something right. Something's wrong. So it doesn't turn on. I wait a little bit, go back and check on it. It's still not on. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to bed. And at this point, it's midnight. 3 o'clock in the morning, my husband comes home. And he hasn't been running the sprinklers because there's a sprinkler head broken.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did not take this into account. So he comes home. There's just a river of water coming out of our driveway. The sprinklers have been on for about 3 hours. There is a geyser about 3 feet high in the middle of our lawn. So yeah, I just saved North Whittier from having to go up in flames. You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys are good.
Yeah, we're good. So now, on top of all of that, because it's been one of those days, my poor husband has a stomach flu, so he's in bed, sick and sound asleep. And at some point during the day, a bottle of fish sauce fell from the top shelf of my pantry. Now, you may be asking me, why do you have fish sauce in your pantry? Because it's a weird thing to have. Well, I went through a phase where I had to make my own curries. And I had about half a bottle, a little over half a bottle. And it was like a big bottle. We're talking like almost wine bottle size. And it fell from the top shelf. And, you can't say the modern manufacturing is cheap or worse than old manufacturing because the bottle didn't break. The cap, though, popped open just slightly enough where everything could leak out all over my kitchen floor, seeped in between all of my tiles in the grout. So now, when I walked home this afternoon from work, about an hour before the show, it smelled like something died in my downstairs.
Oh,
yeah, so I was cleaning that up and trying to eat some dinner and air out my house. So tonight I am not drinking wine. I am having a lovely visit with my little friend Jack. Tonight is a gentleman Jack Daniels night, and a very merry fucking Christmas class. Yeah, really fucking festive tonight.
Well, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. We had, you guys have the Santa Anas that are super dry, and we have these winds. I don't know if Chicago has a name for its winds, if it's like I don't know. And if anyone from Chicago is watching and there is a name for your winds, please let me know.
I don't know if Chicago is just as creative as Los Angeles. We like to name our apocalypses.
I mean, these winds, it's like, Dorothy is not safe in California, in Kansas, in Chicago, because these winds, I brought in our Christmas decorations, and they might have been okay, but I wasn't taking the chance because we got these like giant Christmas presents that light up when you plug them in to put out on the lawn. Mm-hmm. And I went out to check on them when the winds were blowing, and the bows had ripped off of the top of them. And I chased the bows down, and I got them back, so I still have them. But I was like, okay, I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and not have my Christmas decorations.
I have a Christmas dachshund that I used to put out, and I was going to put it out this year, but with all of this wind, I'm like, I think he'll just stay inside this year.
You can plug him in inside and have him do his thing.
Yeah, I could put him right there right there.
You could.
He could be a new mascot for our show because we don't have enough mascots.
No. But so just to segue slightly, very briefly, to our book this month.
Oh, so such a smooth segue because we're professionals.
We're reading Reliance, Illinois, which is about it's told from the daughter's point of view, but it's a mother and daughter who the mother responds to an ad in a matrimonial magazine. So basically, she's a mail order bride, and
a matrimonial magazine. You can't necessarily say because this is the 1800s. So their version of the matrimonial magazine is kind of like our version of like Match.com. What's the other one? The one I made you fill out that one time.
Oh, eHarmony?
Yes. Okay. So not to make things, make Michelle seem desperate or anything, but long before she met Rich, she and I drank, was it a full bottle of wine together?
It was, okay. I just broken up. Well, did I just marry? I forget. I obviously was single, but we decided after a bottle of wine that I wasn't having any luck meeting people, like the right people, the traditional ways. So we were going to try out eHarmony. And for anyone who has not done eHarmony, it is not like an easy process. Like it took us 2 hours to fill out every single question that they had.
We had help. for me.
And I mean, maybe it would have gotten done faster if we hadn't had so much wine. But
Where's the fun of that?
But I didn't meet anyone significant from that anyway. But anyway.
I was surprised by that because the guy that you ended up going out with was like an octopus when all you wanted to do was watch a movie.
I don't remember that one. Not that there were so many, but clearly he wasn't significant.
How bad is it that I remember some of your exes better than you do?
It just means that he didn't make a big enough impression on me to remember.
And I was bummed out because I put a lot of work into some of your answers.
It was a fun night. I do remember that.
It was. So if anybody is going to do eHarmony, I recommend one of three options to do. Well, I mean, one is a necessity. That is to have alcohol on hand when you're filling that out. That's bottom line necessity. Number two is have a good friend nearby. You don't have a good friend nearby that you can call. Option three, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you. We'll have a blast. Just give me a call.
We'll do Google Hangouts. I'll join because I can give you like the firsthand experience.
We will have so much fun with that. This will be our Christmas gift to you.
So maybe you could also consider this because, I mean, it was a newspaper and women and men would post their, likes long moonlit walks on the beach, enjoys, whatever. And they could reply and write letters. And then, so basically she found this guy and he said that he was, had a stable income and a stable business. So she replied. So I don't know, maybe it could be like the Tinder of the 1870s.
But isn't it just for hookups? I don't know. I'm a married woman. I'm out of this game, so.
I think so. But I mean,
it's what the kids say.
No one hooked up in the 1800s. If you hooked up, you got married. So.
Or you were a prostitute. I mean.
So maybe not Tinder.
The mom does not seem like a prostitute in this.
I really like her. She seems very resourceful and very like practical and this, so she gets there and as with many an internet love story, she kind of got catfished a little bit.
Okay, she got catfished a little bit. Dude got catfished a little bit.
He did too, in the sense that she failed to mention that she had a daughter.
Yeah.
But she passed her daughter off as her sister, and okay, he did get catfished because she also said that her aunt was gonna pass away and leave her with a considerable inheritance, and there was no aunt and there was no inheritance. So
who's the bigger fool?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm not a fan at all of Mr. What's his name, Dreyfus?
Yes. He's the way he treated Madeline is lacking because I mean, okay. So here are my thoughts. First, let's talk about thoughts on Mother Dearest, aka Rebecca, but I shall name her Mother Dearest. Though she may be resourceful, I find her to be, I don't know, I keep feeling like we keep equating them to modern times, but she feels like one of those mothers who is obsessed with her youth and her good looks and is fairly selfish. She may be resourceful, but she's selfish. And her daughter is more, feels like she treats her like a burden. Like she's got this ball and chain that she's got to drag around with her, that she could have this better life had it not been for this daughter, who, by the way, we have not discussed, has a ginormous birthmark on her. So, I mean, it just kind of, she used her daughter to write these letters for her, and she used her daughter to do all the correspondence and everything, and to basically be her Cyrano de Bergerac. And then they get there and she's like, okay, you need to step aside. Which, I mean, good for her not making her daughter do these things. But still, she just feels very selfish and very self-centered.
See, I get kind of the opposite. I kind of feel like as far as, and we're obviously not very far into the story at all, so we don't have a lot of the backstory, but I feel like she cared enough about her daughter to make sure that she knew how to read and write because she was able to write the letters for her. So someone,
kid.
well, someone in Madeline's life, it could have been the landlady that they mentioned that passed away. Someone cared enough to make sure that she knew how to read and write. And Rebecca was just like, all right, this seemed like the best option, although she had all of those letters from the prospectors out west in California.
Mm-hmm.
This seemed like the wisest choice, the safest choice, and it's obviously less than what she was expecting. And the mother-in-law, like, not excited about that.
Right?
I feel like she catfished him in not telling him about her daughter, and he catfished her and not telling her about his mother. Because
well, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to tell her about his mother, because, I mean, the guy's allowed to have a mother. I think he catfished her in a way that he expected her to be more than what she was.
But he also totally called her out on everything in, like, the first 5 minutes. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, and then he's still willing to take her in, so, I mean, there's that.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his right now.
Or he is just the bigger sucker. We'll have to wait and find out.
But so I got a little intrigued by the whole I'm going to say mail order bride system, just for lack of a better term, of the 1800s. So I started Googling it. I did Google Reliance, Illinois, and couldn't find any. And then I looked in the acknowledgments, and she said that the town is fictional, but it was based on, similar era, a bunch of towns from that time. But anyway, I found this thing on PBS about mail order brides from the 1800s, and this one person commented on it and was like, oh, my, great whatever cousin lived in this one town in Illinois, north of Chicago, and he ran a mail order bride business. And then he moved to this other town near me, and he opened another business that was never really, we always kind of thought, everything wasn't on the up and up in his business. And all of these towns that he's talking about are all around me. And I really want to find out more about his great cousin. So I have to do research and see if I can track him down and he can tell me about it.
Wasn't Chicago still fairly frontier? Fairly rugged? Yeah. I would think it kind of feels like it was, like Illinois in general, because I mean you're right on the gateway to the Wild West, so they're right at the edge of civilization.
Yeah, and I guess you're right, in the 1870s, because I Googled the town that he said his cousin had his business in, and they have like this whole history about the town, and in the town itself was founded in like the 1830s, and the one-room school was opened in 1847. So yeah, it was pretty rural.
I hate that word, rural. You can never, no matter how sober you are, the word rural makes you sound like you're drunk. No, officer, really, I'm just a rural. It just doesn't.
I live in rural.
Rural. I'm doing an impression of my dogs.
So I guess that was kind of just like the gateway to nothing, to the Wild West.
Yeah. So I mean, but then you also got to consider the time frame too, because I mean they didn't have what we have. So and also consider like women when they came to working, they couldn't just pick up and be like, okay, I'm going to go from this factory to this factory over here and start over again. You had to know somebody to be able to get out of your town and to get out of your situation. And so the means at that time to be able to move up in social stature had to be through marriage. That was one of the reasons why marriage was so important back then, was because it was the only means for some women to be able to change their social hierarchy.
Well, I don't think Rebecca
made my sociology degree, people. Don't let people tell you a college degree is worth nothing.
I don't know if Rebecca made the wisest choice. I'm really hoping that Mr. Dreyfus over here isn't. I hope he doesn't let me down. I'm holding out hope for him that he becomes nicer. But then at the same time, and I was thinking about this earlier, that, you know, she passes her daughter off as her sister. And part of me is like, I could never, like, pretend that my daughter is my sister. Like, what kind of mother does that? But then I was thinking about it, and I said, but she...
Rebecca's a piece of crap.
But then I was thinking about it, and I said, well, she did it because if she came with a daughter, there was a chance that, I mean, even as a sister, there was a chance that he could have turned them away and they would have had nothing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she did it to protect her daughter, and she obviously, you know, I don't know. So, jury's still out on everyone. I don't know who I hate and who I don't.
We're still fairly early in the book. Next week we'll probably have a better idea as to who we hate, who we don't. Gotta give it a little bit more, and then we also gotta start thinking about our casting choices.
I know. Do we have any suggestions as of yet?
Not yet. I'm still thinking and pondering on this because I mean we gotta take some time. Oh, you know who would be a good Mr. Dreyfus though? Actually, just said Donald Sutherland.
Oh, he would be a good Mr. Dreyfus.
Yeah, because, I mean, he could easily call her out on her BS. He's an older gentleman. Still fairly decent looking. So, I mean, what woman in the 1800s would turn him down when she needed a better station in life?
Just say it. Is he... I forget how I know he walks with a cane.
Dude's old. Let's just put it this way. He's old. She's pulling a gold digger move. She's going to marry a husband and then be set to inherit his money after he dies, theoretically.
She has to outlive him and his mother.
Which, I mean, by the state of the mother, she could easily do that. I mean.
I don't know. Donald Sutherland would be a good Mr. Dreyfus. I can picture this actress in my head for Rebecca, but I can't, like... Her face escapes. I can see her face, but not well enough to remember who she is. So hopefully next week.
By next week, or sometime between now and then, you can post it on our Facebook page.
Yes.
If you guys haven't checked out our Facebook page is pretty great. I like to post funny stuff in there. Periodically, we will post questions and try to get a discussion going. And we also post our casting choices there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to yawn so much.
Drink more wine, you'll be better.
Did I just hear a cry? Yep, sure did. Here they come. Yep. Who is it? I think it's Landon.
Yes, because not having a crib was a great idea, wasn't it?
Well, he wouldn't sleep in the crib anymore. He would freak out, and you never quite realize how far down a crib is until you're trying to lower a sleeping child into it. That's like the longest distance ever to put them down. But yeah, the bad thing about a bed that they can get out of is that they can get out of it. Oh. Nope. Dad tried.
Hey, Landon, that's my favorite buddy. You just wanted to get up and see me, didn't you? So we could talk cars, huh?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, he just wants to come join the show. You see, you've got the co-host. I have the mascots.
I love her new sweater.
Okay, yes, isn't it great? I couldn't resist. So for those of you who didn't see, I'll be posting this on Instagram and our Facebook page. I found a shirt on at PetSmart that said, "When I whine, she whines," and it's yeah, the I whine WHINE, she whines WINES. I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. I so needed that.
It's very appropriate, especially on Thursday nights.
Oh yes, yes. So for next week's show, we suddenly got really quiet.
I was trying to figure out if he was going back to sleep or what he was doing.
Oh no, he's wide awake right now. So let me just talk a little bit more. I can like bore him back to sleep if you'd like. I'm really good at that. For next week's show, I'm suddenly now rocking with you. For next week's show, we're going to have Holly Kramer on. Kramer. She heads up Acorn Publishing. She also just came out with a book called Choosing Hope, which we're going to talk to her about. And she is my editor, so she can actually validate for everybody out there that, yes, I do have a book. Yes, it will get published someday, hopefully before I'm 40. And it really isn't a piece of crap. So there's that. And I'm sure she's not saying that she's not just saying that it's good because I pay her. So
I don't think she would waste her time with a book that wasn't good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she'll be on to talk about that, and we'll be talking to her about her book and her publishing company and all the things that she does, and then we'll be talking more about Reliance, Illinois.
Yes, and I did start reading Choosing Hope today, and I text Diana. I was like, I just started reading this book, and the husband has already pissed me off in the first 4 pages. So I'm like, ooh, he made me mad. Pretty sure that was on purpose, but
I know, that's why I just set it down initially too, because I started reading it, and then he was like, he made me really mad. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit this down for a while, and now I have to pick it back up.
Right? Yeah. I had to put it down too. I was like, this is like as there's one line in it, because the main character in that book, really quick, she's a stay-at-home mom, and he at one point told her, because she needed him to watch the kids, and he goes, you're a stay-at-home mom, your sole responsibility is to take care of the kids. And as a stay-at-home mom, I'm like, okay, let's unpack that statement just for a second.
Yep.
He irritated me. But I think, are we going to wrap up a few minutes early?
Yeah, I think we might be able to wrap up a few minutes early. Let's wait for him back to sleep, and I can actually try to make my house not smell like a dead thing.
That's awful.
I know.
Well, drink your drink, and hopefully everyone makes it through the night without getting sick.
Without getting sick, without burning down.
You guys aren't in any evacuation areas or close to any evacuation areas, right?
Knock on wood, we're not. There's a hill not that far away from me that I keep eyeing every morning when I get up and leave the house. But I am surrounded by mountains, and our mountains burned up over the summer. So I think we should be pretty safe, because I don't think there's any vegetation left for that stuff to burn this time around.
True.
And anybody out there who knows how to do a rain dance, please do a rain dance for us. We could really use some rain.
Yeah, you guys need rain. And
we'll see how. Start mailing us your snow.
Oh, he hit his head on the table.
Shook the table. He seems fine. He's not screaming. That's the thing about kids. They bounce.
I don't know what he's going for. Oh, he wants his water bottle. All right. Well,
Everyone, just climbing the walls.
Keep reading. I'm going to do that now, I think, if he'll let me. And
kind of starting to go into panic mom mode.
Yeah, I know my silence is starting to run out.
Alrighty. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.